Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into some 10-star Kizuna Clash vs Garp with some big damage teams for those endgame players that are going to be saving their alliance members over level 100. Because once you hit level 100 of the 10-star event, the damage numbers get pretty freaking high. We're talking well over 10 billion damage after level 110, all the way up to like something like, oh, I think it was at level 150. I think it's something like 100 billion or something like. It's ridiculous. The numbers and the growth after like level 110, 120 of the 10-star is just absolutely wild. But the first fight is against the Int variation, and this particular team, it does use Sabo and Luffy from the new batch. We are using a friend captain Super Tandem Nami. If you have your own Super Tandem Army level 5, you can do a little bit more damage. But I do want to give a shout out to Kribby. He put these teams together, and he doesn't have Nami, but he does have all these other characters. He's not a whale, so hopefully you guys have these characters too, but you might be a little bit less lucky than Kribby is, so you might be missing them. But unfortunately, to do these big numbers, you do need these big characters. So we have Robin on the team. Robin gives us a conditional boost. We pop Luffy on turn 1, so we get his orb boost on the final stage and his chain multiplicative buff. Sabo on stage 2 can give us the chain boundary and remove the special bind. We have the VV support for the threshold removal. Nami super class, can remove threshold. Her special can remove damage reduction. She's a chain booster. She's a base attack booster. Verse Yamato is going to give us the damage reduction buff and a 3.25 times attack. Queen gives us resistance. And finally, Roger is going to give us color affinity. Now, with this team, Kribby has screenshotted it at over 70 billion damage. However, I just couldn't really find a good assist for this run. So we actually kill before we actually hit with any of our side characters. So as you can see there's a lot of damage coming with those one orbs as well, and it should do bits. Like I said, Kribby did clock it at 70 billion, which is a lot of damage for a 10-star event. Nami's just the GOAT, man. Alright, so moving on to the strength fight now. Once again, we are using a friend captain Nami. Nami, since her release, is just absolutely absurd. Like, she's been so useful in every piece of content literally since the day that she hit the game. Like, just mind-boggling how amazing this particular character is. For me, it's uncanny. She's like, there's not even a discussion of the best legend of the game. It's Nami. Like, Nami's the best legend of the game. Like, if you guys want to argue with me down in the comment section below, because like, I don't even think that it's like, I don't even think it's close, if I'm completely honest with you. Like, it's actually wild. But we are using Sabo as our captain. We are using Nami as a friend captain. Using Nami as a friend captain is great because we can use the Shark Superb. That way we get more damage output. On stage 2 of this particular fight, there's 5 turns of defense up and 2 turns of attack down. The free-to-play Uta is just God mode for this because she gives you a chain boost, removes the attack down, and sets defense to 0, and then allows you to use the Sabo special to give a chain boundary as well, allowing you to easily take out Ace. Like, you don't really have to use Sabo there, but like, it's definitely like a safer kill. So make sure you guys are utilizing that just to make things a little bit easier. On the final stage against Garp, you get a full border unfavorable slots, 5 turns of despair, and you get binded on your left-hand side for 6 turns. So the support of Ace, as well as the support of Rayleigh, can not only remove 2 turns of despair, but basically you get 5 turns of bind removal. With the Queen support on Yamato, you can remove the final turn of bind. And then you can start popping the left-hand column. Using Nami's special, Nami's super class gives you a conditional boost. Also gives you a base stat and chain boost, which is awesome. Then you can use Robin to set the defense to 0 and get a conditional. And then, because you've set the defense to 0, you can actually use Uta to remove 4 turns of despair. Works exceptionally well. Finishing it off with Red Rock Luffy to give you an orb buff. Works like an absolute treat. You just have to make sure that you use Nami before Red Rock Luffy. Otherwise, you won't get the bigger base stats. Red Rock Luffy's final type is very powerful as well. Most people do have a couple dupes in him as well. So you can definitely hit with him last, and you can put him on the right-hand side, allowing you guys to get an extra 1 assault for this particular team. As you guys will see, like, we're just flying up the chain. We hit with Robin there. We haven't even hit with anyone else, and this particular team, I think I was told, clocks at around 75 billion damage as well. So works very nicely and should save your alliance members for a very long time. And the final variation is the Dex variation. And unfortunately, the Dex variation is a little bit challenging. Now, if you do have your own Nami, you can do some other cheeky stuff. However, without your own Nami, it is a little bit more challenging. We are using a combination of the waifus with Super Tandem Nami. Once again, if we bring our own waifus, we can use the Shark Superb, and that works very, very nicely. Plus, the waifus as a captain, they can actually remove bind with their super type, which is super handy for this fight because you actually get bind on your middle row, so super nice. On the first turn, we're just going to easily kill the turtles, and then on stage 2, you come up against Sabo, who gives himself 2 turns of defense up and 5 turns of resilience. On turn 1, we are going to pop the Nami special, and then basically you just pass the turn here. On stage 2, against Sabo, he gives you 5 turns of paralysis, which is very, very nice when you are using a Nami captain, because basically you just absorb all the paralysis and you get Nami's special back, which works like an absolute treat. If you do get the paralysis too, you stay at max HP, and it allows you to get a higher color affinity on the final stage too. Before you do move on, you do want to use the Toki ability. Apply that to your Toki and your X-Drake. Very important that you apply it to those 2 characters because they're Kizuna units. They are always boosted, stereotypically. So they are actually getting boosted stats. They're going to be hitting very hard on the final stage. On the final stage, you get a full board of Bomb Orbs. You get Bind on your middle row. There's 5 turns of Despair. And there's 6 turns of Threshold. VV support, once again, gives us extra damage thanks to the resistance. We can remove the Despair with Luffy. He also gives us a little bit of a chain multiplicative buff as well. Super type of the waifus is going to remove the bind as well as heal us to get us above that at max HP for their special. We have the chain boundary of X-Drake with the Shuten Maru support. You do a lot of damage here. And then basically you're just going to finish it off with Verse Yamato for her damage reduction buff, as well as the special of Nami for base stats, chain boost, and the conditional boost that she can provide. So this team works incredibly well. It does clock out around 40 billion damage. I think there is a team, if you just like, if you have your own Nami, like I said, I was trying not to use Nami as my own captain here, because I do know a lot of people don't have Nami, and the rest of these units don't need dupes. You just need 1 copy, which I do feel is a little bit more attainable for most players. But remember, these are big damage teams. These are designed for like end game players that are doing super high Kizuna levels. I have put out a bunch of videos against the 10-star event for some of the other guys who like build-up teams and whatnot. If you guys are looking for teams to take them down, if you are a little bit lower in the sort of play style. But that's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed the video, bell the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.